All right, let's get into it. Again, what we're going to be endeavoring to do today is to give more structure and integrity and lend more light to the prophetic framework. All right. And in doing that, we have established the prophetic movement as well, which we said is east to west, not west to east. All right.
Okay.
And we've indicated the Shemitic lineage, if you want to look at it in that term. And we've defined that that is less a lineage and more of an energetic signature that would characterize individuals that would move from east to west and would be first and primary in doing so. We took a look at the green man, all right, and said that the template or the monomyth is based on Osiris. And Osiris is based on a category of beings that first emanated into the earth realm, our ancient ancestors. Okay?
Okay.
So just like Yoda is represented as being green, it is an allusion to a certain type of what? Energetic frequency or energetic signature that would influence individuals throughout these Nasi, these Yomim.
Okay.
And we're going to get a greater understanding of what that is. I promise you today that what is going to be put on view is the last portion of this prophetic framework. We have taken you from the Genesis beginning, our emanation into the physical realms, and we're going to take you to the finish, the Shabbat. Are you all with me?
Okay.
Aleph to Tav. Aleph to Tav. All right?
Is my microphone working today?
We hear you.
Okay, thank you. I'm on music now.
All right. So Osar and Osiris, or Osiris, is the original green man. He is the land and the earth in his representation of mankind migrating through the cycles of consciousness. That migration, family, is symbolized by the 22 Hebrew letters, Aleph to Tav. It is also represented by the 22 tarot cards, from the Fool to the World card. We're going to get into greater detail in that. It is also represented, listen, by the earth, and then the chakras, the first 7 chakras, the earth, that's 1, plus the first 7 chakras that start at the foot and go up to the root chakra. That's the first 7. Then the second set of 7 goes from the root chakra up to the crown chakra. Then you have 7 more above the crown chakra. That is 7, 7, 7, 21, plus the earth, making 22.
We're missing some of your. I'm missing some of your.
Could you repeat that, Moray? Because you stopped. It stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, it cut us off, like froze.
All right. Let me go back then. Osiris or Osar is the original green man. He is the land. Now, again, it begins with the land, the earth. In his representation of mankind migrating through the cycles of consciousness. Did everyone get that?
Okay.
So, taking it to a higher level, this migration through the cycles of consciousness symbolically is represented by the 22 Hebrew letters from Aleph to Tav. Everyone got that?
Okay.
Also, it is this migration through consciousness. Our forefathers gave us another tool, which is the 22 tarot cards that start with 0, the fool, and ends at the 21st tarot card, which is the world. All right? So 22 tarot cards symbolizing this migration through what? The cycles of consciousness. Also, and I'll go to it, bear with me. I want to show you the picture so that we get it.
So so we're saying when we come to the tarot card, we don't start at 1, we start at 0, right?
0.
We go to 21.
We always start at cipher or safar.
Right.
We always start at cipher. So again,
that's a key, right?
We see the 22 tarot cards, and you see right here, the 0 right here is the fool.
Right.
So it goes from 1 to 21, but you have to include the cipher.
Right.
This man right here is standing on the earth. This is why his knees are bent. This is why his knees are bent and his feet are splayed, symbolizing that he is standing on something. And that is the earth. So you start with the cipher, the earth, count 7, then 7 more, up to the crown chakra, then 7 more, which gives you 22. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. Moving backwards now. It's very important we keep in mind the counterpart to Yoda, the green man, indicating what? Generation and creation, to Darth Vader, the black man, or the dark man, or the dark father, indicating what? Destruction. And the end of a cycle. We are right here at the end of a cycle. Now I'm giving you our symbols in modern interpretation. All right?
Clear.
So, moving forward, he is the land and the earth in his representation of mankind migrating through the cycles of consciousness. He is the seed, the self, the sun, and the universe, enabling consciousness to express itself as a manifestation in the physical and earthly realm. As such, he is associated with all phases of agricultural processes and to the symbolism of the tree of life. Write that down, the tree of life. And then next to it, write down the bush of life, the tree of life. Then write down next to it, the bush of life. Now, why did I say the bush of life? It has to do with water first, but fire next time. Why did I say the bush of life? What am I referring to?
Would it be
burning bush.
the burning bush of Moshe?
There you go. There you go. There you go. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind.
That sounded like wholeness to me. That was wholeness.
Here we go. Here we go. So, he is expressed as green in many depictions to represent these associations and their relationships to the fertility of the earth. His dual feminine aspect. So this is a holistic representation. We know that it is represented as male, but again, I see the same as Killmonger. When you don't see the mother, you automatically, it should make you what? Identify more with the feminine and say this individual is a representation of the divine feminine. Why? Because it was removed. Same as they didn't show Killmonger's mother. And the same reason I see where they said Melchizedek was what? Without father or mother, no beginning and no end, expressing the same thing.
Absolutely.
It is through the portal of the solar plexus or the lion's gate, again, closely identifying it with the sun and light and our true heart center, that we traverse dimensions from spirit to matter, from unity to consciousness to individuate. From unity consciousness to individuated consciousness, and what? Back again. Family, we are on the return journey. So we must familiarize ourselves first off with these energies, understand what they represent and what they do in terms of their nature, and identify now, see what? The age that we're in and the ones that we have to calibrate to and align ourselves with. This is the hero's journey that is likened to the path of the sun across the sky, again, emphasizing east to west. According to, listen, Osiris and Anubis. Write down Anubis and then put the equal sign and put dog. Then next to dog, write God. D-O-G and G-O-D. G-O-D, D-O-G and G-O-D. A mirror reflection of dog is God. And a
Right.
mirror reflection of God is dog. Y'all gonna understand what I'm saying perfectly. See, now, see, our enemies understand this, and they keep us locked down because of our lack of understanding. My people are destroyed continuously because of what? Lack of knowledge.
Right.
Lack of knowledge. Accordingly, Osiris and Anubis was known by the name of Kinti Amentiu. Kinti Amentiu, which meant the foremost of the Westerners. Kinti Amentiu, the foremost of the Westerners, the chief of the Westerners. Let me tell you all something. The Westerners refer to the dead. The Westerners, listen, refer to the dead. See, let's come to an understanding, people. During the age of light,
Right. Right.
the operative power or the ascendant energy was what? Operative. That which manages and sustains. But as we descend into light, a transition has to be made from those things that sustain life to an energy that brings all life to an end. Where? In the West.
That's clear to me.
Is everybody with me?
Hey.
Now see, look, they know these things. And they are watching us, and they are anticipating our rise. They have anticipated our rise. Family, they knew we would get to this point because they are more well read on our mythology and our science and our knowledge than we are. I'm going to prove that. Disney has a movie coming out called Coco. Now, you all remember that I showed you the skull. I showed you Darth Vader, right?
Right.
And I said, look at the three impressions, the eyes and the mouth, or the eyes, the mouth, and the nose, like they have it represented. Skull, we know that a skull is represented. Do you see those three impressions there?
Yep.
Now, if I just showed you that portion of it without the teeth, you would make the assumption that, hey, that's a skull, right?
Right.
Now, keep this in mind. I'm going to show you the meaning. Disney has a movie coming out called Coco.
Mm-hmm.
The etymology of the noun cocoa is literally a palm tree from the 1550s. From the Spanish and Portuguese, coco, meaning grinning or grimacing face, on resemblance of three depressions to the base of the shell to a monkey or the human face. Y'all see it?
Wow.
Now that's cocoa.
So a coconut.
Now that's cocoa now. That's cocoa. That's one of our symbols that I'm showing you.
Mm-hmm.
I want you all to remember this one especially.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm going to show you the official movie trailer to the new Disney movie called Coco. Now, prior to that coming on, they're going to show you another film by Pixar where you're going to see right away the Green Man. Now, see, we just talking about these things, but we're causing them, just like with the Black Panther movie, to put these things out there for us.
Right.
Watch this. See, family, this is what we have to understand, that we are for signs and seasons. We must move from the position of being created to being that, to take that position and assume the position of the creator. It's no way. That is calibrating ourselves. There's no other way to do it. That is calibrating ourselves to that vibratory frequency.
Right, right.
Okay, this is not the one, but do y'all see Anubis? Do y'all see the dog? Do y'all see the G?
Okay.
Ha, that is Anubis.
Uh-huh.
It's you. You're gonna get me in trouble. That day, someone could hear me. I wish someone wanted to hear me.
Y'all see the skull on the end of the guitar?
Look at this. Ooh.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Watch
Wow.
this. Gee.
I know I'm not supposed to love music. No music. No music.
Now there's a mariachi.
Uh-huh.
We're going to decode that too. I ain't even seen the movie, but I know our symbols.
But my great-grandma Coco's father was the greatest musician of all time.
Did y'all see he was looking at a picture of his father without his head?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And do you see his guitar with the skull next to it? Decapitation. Decapitation.
Was the greatest musician of all time. Papa Ernesto de la Cruz.
Ah, Ernesto de la Cruz. Ernesto de la Cruz. The determined one, the earnest one, de la Cruz, of the cross.
Wow.
Ernesto de la Cruz, the earnest one or the determined one of the cross. Y'all remember this? Skull and crossbones?
Right.
Hey.
Y'all remember in the Black Panther movie, the only thing that can put vibranium or melanin in check is sound?
Okay.
Go back and look at the movie. It's the same thing, but you got to know your signs and you got to know your mythology. Going forward, moving forward.
The metal, the precious metal was vibranium, right?
That's correct. It vibrates like the guitar.
Like vibration, yeah. That's what's connected.
There it is.
One day, he left with his guitar and never returned. Now my family thinks music is a curse. Great-great-grandfather, none of them understand me. I'm supposed to play music. right. Who's in there? I'm sorry. What's going on? I'm just dreaming. Do you mind? Welcome.
What did it say, Tommy? When they
Okay.
bringing this out?
Thanksgiving.
This Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Now, family, let me ask y'all something.
That's my Yomo letter.
What? Uh-huh. And Thanksgiving, does it have to do with something that happened in the East or something that happened relative to our ancestors in the West?
In the West, no doubt.
West.
They know how
Okay.
to find these things.
Bring it home.
And here we are.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a hell of a day. Don't. But they paying attention to it.
Mm-hmm.
And they are working these rituals at special times. Why? Because we have disconnected ourselves in terms of our identity, our true identity, which would be what? Established in the West.
West.
Uh-huh.
They know this, y'all. They
Now.
know this.
They got it down to a science.
But they got it. It's our science. It's our science. I'm going to put this on pause, family. Hold on 1 second. All right, speak out. So,
Just a question before you go any further. Now, these are movies that Disney put out. I mean, he even had a history of this, but it appeared to be things for children, but it ain't for no children, you know. And so the children, you know, that is really for is asleep.
That's right.
Which is in us, you know.
Right.
Like a child, childlike.
This is trigonology. And they run this stuff, they're running reverse rituals. I'm making y'all aware. You got to be able to see your signs. It is critical. It is essential. And then you can turn your sign, you can come into possession of your science and reverse that thing.
Right.
Then you can enjoy the movie. Did you hear what he said? Welcome to the land of the dead. Osiris is the foremost of the dead. He's the Lord of the dead. In other words, what does that mean? That is the energetic signature of destruction and death.
Right.
We got to understand that that's the cycle that we're in. It is a cycle of finishing. It's a cycle, I see, of resting.
Right.
Is this connected with why they have so many? Because my children in my class talk about it all the time. The zombies, aren't they the Walking Dead?
That's the most popular television series that's on now.
They got games and everything. They play it. They're playing it in school, and they're talking about it all the time. The zombie apocalypse. And
now they also came out with Planet Z. Planet Z. In the alphabet, where is Z at? At the front or at the end?
At the end.
See,
at the end.
We don't understand these signs and seasons. See, we still under the influence of human rules.
Mm-hmm.
but we must connect to our divinity. And I'm telling y'all, it's not what y'all think it is. We are not in a season of sustaining life. Not there yet, family.
Right.
Someone's microphone is open. Please check your mics if sound is coming through there. But we are not in that position yet. There's a time and a season for everything. A time to plant, what? A time to water, to sow, to water, to cultivate, a time to harvest, and what? Time to live and a time to die. So we have to come to an understanding of this. So clearly, they're talking about a city of the dead. They know what time it is. And they know we know, some of us know what time it is. So, Tommy, they're trying to cut us off at the pass. It ain't gonna work though. We wide awake.
Right. Uh-huh.
The time for doing that little trigonology is I ain't even seen the movie. And I can decode it. Why? Because I know my science.
Right.
I know the symbols.
Mm-hmm.
I know my science.
Yeah.
And I know what they're trying to work.
You gotta stay with me, boy.
See, that is Anubis that leads the dead on a journey. See, we got to know our sign.
Okay.
So that's why
Right.
he says, you got to stay with me, boy.
Right. Okay.
Because
Okay.
that is that energy, y'all. That is that energetic signature that is going to guide us, that is going to be with us or on our backs. Are you all with me?
Okay. Game.
We got to know our signs and we got to know our symbols. And we must know what time it is, what season it is. And don't nobody determine the signs and the seasons and the times but us.
Eitai, if I may, let me kind of and make a point. At this point, what you're saying, we have to understand that if we are for signs and seasons, and we are, this is forethought of the ancestors giving us the opportunity at the near the end time for us to become aware of what we're supposed to do. And the Euro Gentiles or the Arab man was what? Programmed to make this, you understand, available to us, whether we would hear or whether we would forbear.
That's correct. Now see, our ancestors are on their backs too. Because
that's what I'm talking about, right? Yeah.
We just talking about these things. They are, and our ancestors already got our movie out there to confirm it.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Right. Other than that, we can't give the European no credit for this here kind of knowledge. And if he had this kind of knowledge and he had this kind of power, wouldn't even be no need for him to what? Be messing around like this with us. He just gonna get rid of us, and at the end of it, and everything will be his.
That's right. In order to see a Negro, you had to go to a museum.
Right. Excellent.
Here we go.
You're all really out there. Agents at the Department of Family and Reunions are available to us.
Now I want you all to look at this city that they show here, and then go back to look at when you first saw Wakanda. when you first saw Wakanda in Black Panther?
Right.
Can y'all recall?
Yeah.
Shelters. Agents at the Department of Family Reunions are
Yep.
able to assist you. Please be on the lookout for a boy. Miguel, you're here.
Now his name is Miguel, Michael.
Oh, okay.
Now when we gonna go to the book of Daniel now. See, they trying to keep Michael there. But Arithiel must come to bring in the age of Arithiel, which we are in, which we've been in for some time.
They're like the archangels, Michael and Raphael.
That's correct.
I know your great-great-grandpa. I'll get you from him. What are you doing?
We are all a part.
I'm walking like a skeleton. No, skeletons don't walk like that. It's how you walk. No, I don't.
Of those who came before. Who they talking about, family? We are all a part of those.
That's us.
Before. They're talking about the ancestors. Now here we are just recently started talking about the ancestors. How did they know, Nasi?
All right. There had to be people, though. I mean, ain't no question about it.
They had access to our information. Yes.
In the 17th chapter of Revelation, it said, I put it in the minds of men to fulfill my will.
Absolutely.
This is exactly what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Given context.
You disappear from this world. But you can change that. We gotta find my...
You got to do it by sunrise. Now let me ask you, is he working at night or is he working in the day? I'm asking y'all.
Night.
Come on,
Nighttime.
I thought no man could work at night.
Night. Exactly.
But he's not a little boy no more. He's making a transition from what? Being material to being what? Non-material or immaterial. He's making the transition by way of his ancestors from human to divine, from Jesus to Christ. Are y'all with me?
Okay.
I'm a big fan. Never forget how much your family loves you.
And now see, we can never forget that. How much our ancestors loved us.
Yeah.
And prepared the way for us.
Sunrise.
Yeah, they did everything.
That's true. I am terribly hungry. Well, Dante doesn't have any hair. And I don't have a nose. And yet, here we are. That's true.
Do y'all see the skull and the crossbones?
Yes.
The guitars
It's
cross.
kind of scary for children. I don't think children want to see that.
You know, if
all the symbols.
It's actually again not made for children. It's made for us. We have to understand that. We got to remove fear. We're causing them to make these things for us. It is confirmation of exactly where we are. A couple of days ago, we started talking about the green man.
Mm-hmm.
Today's subject is going to be on the skull and about death and getting a better understanding of this term because we have not had the proper understanding of it. And I think it was even, let me go back here and try to show where they show the green man. I think it's before this clip that they're going to show the green man. Oh no, they're not gonna let but there's a new Disney film that they show. Let me see if I can find it. With Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
A Wrinkle in Time.
A Wrinkle in Time.
Yeah. Yes.
What if we are here for a reason? What if we are a part of something truly divine?
Wow.
Imagine.
Oh, boy.
1 billion light years traveled.
Yes.
Like that.
Sweet dreams are made of it. Your father has accomplished something extraordinary.
Did y'all see the little mixed boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, this is now. I want y'all to look for it. You're gonna see this in commercials. White men with black women with little mixed children.
Yes.
Black man with white.
Yes.
Look, this is a ritual now, a reverse ritual.
Mm-hmm.
They trying to write themselves into your story.
Yes.
Also dangerous. He's trapped by a darkness that's actively spreading throughout the universe. And the only one who can stop it is you.
Why would you want to stop? Then they show the little black girl. Why would you want to stop the onslaught of darkness?
Right.
The only reason you would want to stop it is because you're still confused and in a state of reversal in understanding the difference between the age of light and the age of darkness.
The age of darkness.
Come on,
Because this should confirm everything that we have been saying. You're seeing it here. And who's putting it there? It's certainly not the aberrant man. We understand. We understand that he's trying to work his little reverse ritual, but the subject matter is ours.
Yes.
Be a warrior. I'll try.
And you all just saw what they're trying. You saw Oprah as being the black mother talking against darkness. There she is. And the aberrant woman with the red hair, here she comes. That's the aberrant woman. With the red hair and the oranges eye color and lip gloss representing fire that they're trying to prevent coming. I guarantee you that's the villainous. Trying to prevent this fire.
Right.
tested every step of the way. Trusts nothing.
Darling, time for dinner. Are you lost?
Oh, wow. Look at this.
It's the darkness.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Anything
There it is.
faster than light is what?
Darkness.
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 Right about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They are terrified of this, family. They're terrified
Yes.
of this.
Yes. Yes.
March 9th.
Friday.
Okay.
And I want to show y'all the green man that they got in there too. There they go. There she goes.
Imagination. I'm not afraid. I know what I have to do.
Disney's A Wrinkle in Time, rated PG, in 3D and IMAX Friday. Tickets available now.
Coming out right now. Coming out in a few
Eitai,
days.
the term wrinkle of time, yeah, come out reveal. I mean, what, Shishi.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, what is this term wrinkle of time? Wrinkle is a changing of time.
That's what you talked about yesterday, Nasi, when their attempts with this Mandela effect, they can't do nothing, no.
Right.
They can't do nothing, no. So what they have to do is to get us to do it for them, because they cannot work the magic. So they got to get us to do it. They got to get us to hate Killmonger and reject him and not tap into that energy that is what? Innocent.
Right.
They got to get us to hate the darkness and love the light. So that we what? Continue to align ourselves to light and give integrity to what? The simulated reality. That is going to prolong their dimension and their dimension over us.
They've been trying to do this for years, but they've been trying to do it through getting our DNA by the unnecessary amputations of our people and sending it out to Maine University, Michigan State University, to that hospital, studying how they could capture it. Not the spirit of it. They can't
do that, Mr.
They don't understand that. I know they can't do it, and that's the thing. They've been working us for years.
They're
literally.
Once they understand the nature, the energetic nature of melanin and dark energy and how it works, they can best understand us and continue to control us through this tricknology. And so if we continue, Nasik, in the old, according to the old framework and the old knowledge, we'll continue to what? Be our own worst enemy. And trying and attempting to what? Sustain something that is being destroyed.
Right.
All life must
Are you familiar with?
Let me tell you all life must end before it begins again. A cycle must come to what? A complete close. There must be total finality to the age and the lifestyle of that age, the spirit of that age.
Right.
This is the prophetic sequence. So we took a look at all of this is connected back to the West, where we had our beginnings in terms of our emanation, all of us. So I talked to you about Hanuman, which relates to the indigenous American or Mexicans in the West, the indigenous or native or aboriginal Americans. Those were our forefathers that had that Shemitic energy that compelled them to do what? Cross over first. That compelled them to cross over first, because that energy of the first and the firstborn, some of us are connected to, not all of us. Some of us, and that's all right, because some will follow later. All right.
Okay.
This and it's typified or symbolized or characterized by this monkey character rather, Sun Wukong. He represents a certain type of energy, and his story mirrors our story. Everyone that would attempt to be first, everyone that would venture out and what? Break away from the old system to establish a new one. Everybody with me? So let us look at Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong, the story is the Monkey King and the journey not to the east for enlightenment, but to the west for enlightenment. That is where it's going to be found. Look, Osiris, the foremost among the Westerners. His path is the path of the sun across the sky. It can't get no more plainer than that. And again, another characterization of this energy through the Monkey King and his what? Hero's journey to the west for enlightenment. Sun Wukong means aware of emptiness. In order to make this journey and to learn anything, you got to be aware that you are empty and need to be filled. Just what we said at the start. Your cup has to be empty. You cannot bring any old understanding of anything into this.
Say that again.
It has to die. You cannot bring one iota of old understanding into this, or you will not make the journey. Until you what? Lay that down, until you kill that noise and lay it down, you're not going to make this journey. I can say that unequivocally.
And I can say it too.
Likewise.
Okay.
Sun Wukong was born a monkey from a stone, born from the mating of primal chaos, listen, and the sky. That's just another way of saying that he emanated into the world. Well, how? Did he enter through the fire? No, he jumped through a waterfall. Water first, fire next time. Look, this is consistent throughout the Bible, consistent throughout all mythology. China, Japan, no matter where you go, they are aware that we are in a false reality called the age of light, the age of duality.
And we call ourselves the sons of light.
Right.
Okay, do you hear me?
Okay.
Now see, tricknology.
Got marching backwards.
Tricknology.
Right.
Reverse ritual. They don't just do it on the movies. They do it in the books as well. They do it in our educational system.
Absolutely.
You go towards the light. Go towards the light.
Right. And that's very important. That's very important for individuals. You need to have that knowledge. Do not go if you try just so happen to transition. Do not go toward the light. Go toward the darkness. That's gonna get you home.
Right.
That's gonna get you home. You're going back to the source. You are going back to your source. Black people, melanated people, dark energy, dark matter people, children of darkness. Go toward the darkness. Move toward it. Make it up in your mind right now.
Another thing that connects us as human beings is the fact that the physiological body, our body temple, is always said to be 72 to 80% what? Water.
Water, absolutely.
That connects us with the moon, with the tides and all that thing.
That's correct. That's correct. He jumped through a waterfall on Monkey's Island. The Huago Shan, the mountain of flowers and fruit. There he discovered the Shualian Dong, the water curtain, the waterfall cave, the water curtain cave. The other monkeys proclaimed him Mei Huang, handsome monkey king, for his feat. This is how we became renowned, emanating into these realms. Now see, through the water, even.
Through the water.
But still what? Imperfect, because we find ourselves in an imperfect position today.
Absolutely.
It is prone to imperfection and corruption. All you gotta do is not take a shower for a couple of weeks. You're gonna be corrupt. You're gonna find yourself in a degenerate state.
That's correct.
After celebrating, he soon realized that he was still a normal monkey. In other words, he was still material, was still physical. What did he want, family? He wanted immortality. But all throughout, I want you all to think with me, all through every story that you read, even in the Bible, when they were in the garden and wanted to eat from the tree of life, were they allowed to? When they wanted to eat from the tree of life, not the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, were they allowed to? No, they were put out of the garden so that they would not.
Oh, you mean after the fall? After the fall?
No, well, let's not talk in terms of the fall, because we're bringing another doctrinal teaching into it. I just want us to understand that they were not allowed to eat, and it was specifically said that they would what? Become immortal, have everlasting life. You got to ask yourself a question. Why were they not allowed to eat? I'll tell you why. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. You must it ain't nothing that you eat. You must transition from what? Being a human and identifying as a human to identifying as what? A divine being, as a God.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
You're not going to be able to hold on to your humanity and at the same time transition into what? Immortality. Calls for serious thought and consideration, family. We're going to get to it now. We just gonna follow our signs. Determined to find immortal beings and learn their ways, he traveled how? On a raft. That means he crossed the water. That's that Shemitic, that's that Shemitic lineage. He traveled on a raft across water to new lands. East to west, y'all. Finally finding the patriarch, one of the ancestors called Subhuti, and becoming his disciple. Listen. Subhuti rejected him at first, but Huang's determination, remember y'all, Ernesto, the determined one of the cross, Ernesto de la Cruz, because he kept asking, kept knocking, kept seeking. And eventually his intelligence impressed the patriarch. It was from him that Huang received the Buddhist name Sun Wukong. He had to empty himself. Son of emptiness. Son of emptiness. He is aware, he is now aware of his emptiness. He was rejected. Why? Because he was coming full of himself. Under the patriarch's teaching and training, he acquired the powers of immortality, shape-changing or shape-shifting, and cloud traveling. Behold, he cometh on the clouds. He also learned a technique called Jinduan, cloud somersault, where he can cover 3,600 miles in a single somersault. Let me ask y'all a question. If y'all could travel like that, 3,600 miles, that you could leave some a place where it was day and somersault into a place where it was night. You could leave a day on a Monday on the same time as Monday in one place, and what? It'll be Tuesday morning in another place, correct?
Yes. Get Delta.
So you must understand. What did he say now? See?
Eitai, he said, "Quit." He says, "Quit joking." But I want to put a pin here, because this point here about being empty is the most difficult thing for a learned man or woman to acknowledge that they're already full. You can't tell them nothing. You can't teach them. Right. They already know. And in that state, there's no way to transition out of it.
Right.
No way to transition out of it, because you can't be nothing.
But just like
that's why it gave the sign in the scripture, it said to be as a child.
That's right.
You have to come as a child, knowing.
Right.
That's right.
But we think, and so we can't learn nothing.
That's right. But
always pit against my wisdom and mine against yours. And what we got? Duality.
That's
conflict.
Correct. Yes. Conflict. Controversy. But I guarantee you, by the time we get halfway through this teaching, it's going to challenge all of us. It's going to challenge all of us.
Excellent. Excellent.
So Huang's name was changed from Huang to Sun Wukong, meaning aware of emptiness. Under the patriarch's teaching and training, he acquired these powers of immortality. So you know, if you can somersault 36,000 miles, time don't mean nothing to you.
Right.
Exactly.
And a day is not a day like that. So we have to stop
Right.
fixing the Shabbat on a day.
Right. Great.
Okay.
High point.
We must stop that. Attempting
Still
to
lock
fix
yourself into time.
the Shabbat on a day. Time is an illusion. Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday,
Limited.
Monday, Tuesday,
What
Wednesday,
put
all
on
that's an
everything
illusion.
as they had, they said limited time. Limited
Time is
time.
an illusion. It is temporary. We're gonna understand the science of this. And this is going to be now see the science of the simulated reality.
Reality, right.
We got to know the difference between the organic reality and the simulated reality. In the organic reality, there is no time. There is no space.
Yes.
Right.
Because if it was time and space, that would mean it is separation between one
Yes.
or another.
Right.
By distance or by time.
Yeah.
Under the patriarch, okay, Sun Wukong was taught the 72 earthly methods of translation. I want us to write down the word. I want us to write down 72 and the word Goetia. Goe.
Goetia?
Goetia, I'm spelling it. Goetia. Goetia. And then put the equal sign and put ancestors down. There are ancestors that sit over different energetic types and signatures of transformation. Then write down 72 paths. PATHS. 72 paths. Just not one path, just not one type of energy. You're going to have to determine your energy and your path. He picked this when his 72 methods of transformations. He picked this when his master, Saputu, offered a choice between the 72 earthly transformations, listen, and the 36 heavenly ones. Now, he gave him a choice between something earthly and something heavenly. And he did what? Pick the earthly. Why? Because he thought because there were more.
Right.
Green.
See, this is the type of mindset. Now watch what happened.
Right.
The earthly represents your human identity. The heavenly represents what? Your divine identity. So he was still what? Now see, stuck in the human aspect of
right, Eitai.
Now watch what happens. These transformation apparently cover every possible form of existence, people, objects, etc. he was given 3 special hairs by Guan Yin, who received them from the Buddha himself, which could be used in dire emergencies. All the other hairs on his body can be transformed into clones of himself. Deep science, high science there. Because if they're testing your DNA, where do they get it from? One place they get it from is the hair. And melanin determines what? The color of the hair. Whether it's dominant or recessive. So this is our knowledge, people. Wukong became proud of his new abilities and began boasting to the other disciples. That's ego. Why? Because he's still, his choice lets you know that he's still attached to humanity.
Right.
And then the ancestors were not happy. His patriarch, Subhuti, was not happy with this. And they what? Parted ways. Subhuti was certain that Wukong would get into trouble. So he made Wukong promise never to tell who had been his teacher. I hope we ain't gonna have to do that.
Right.
Teacher disassociated from him, Lord.
Are y'all hearing this?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this is establishing and confirming the framework that we were already operating under and within, correct?
Okay.
Empty your cup. The age of Oriphiel or Araphael, the departure of order, that is light, and the return of chaos, darkness.
Simulated order.
And family, we saw in that movie that they are trying to bias our people through symbols against this prophetic sequence. They are trying to preserve what? The age of light. It ain't gonna work. We already on top of this. If nobody in the world is on top of this, understand we are. We're on top of it. It's not gonna happen. I can say it with certainty.
No, it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen. They trying to cut us off at the pass. It's not gonna happen. We ain't even seen the movie yet and already got it decoded. Chaos reigned ere order came. Darkness wrapped the world around. When at last Pangu appeared, light and bright he placed above. Yan, heavy things he ranged below. Yin, living creatures he called forth. All things needed he supplied. Creation's wonders, if you'd see, read this journey to the sky. That is talking about the journey from east to west. That is talking about this journey from east to west. And here they are talking about these kalpas. We won't get into detail on these just yet. But understand that these kalpas, Nasi, correspond to the yom, not to days, but to great expanses of time. So if it's saying, and we're not going to get into this, but if it's saying that the age of the world is 129,600 years, and a year is 1,000, and a day is 1,000 years, then you know that this is just talking about an expansive, almost immeasurable
Right.
period of time.
Right.
And again, the reason we haven't understood these things is we've understood that a day was always, like we know it, was always a day. And like we conceive it, everybody
24
always
hours.
conceived a day like that. So now see, being earthly minded, we were compelled to what? Fix the Shabbat on a certain day.
Have to, absolutely. Absolutely.
In the beginning,
And
there was nothing in the universe except formless chaos. This chaos coalesced into a cosmic egg for about 18,000 years. Within it, the perfectly opposed principles of yin and yang became balanced. Now, they were balanced in the beginning, family. They are
Mm-hmm.
imbalanced now.
Mm-hmm.
And Pangu emerged or woke up from the egg. Pangu is just Sun Wukong. You see him
right,
covered with hair here like a monkey and with the monkey ears on top of his head. That is just another representation of Sun Wukong in that energy. Uh, uh, Sun Wukong was born or emanated into a stone egg, all right? Into a stone egg, and he emanated into an egg, all right? He emerged from the egg. Pangu is usually depicted as a primitive, hairy giant who has horns on his head and wears furs. Now we go back to that representation right here. The brother in Black Panther wearing the furs, right?
right, right, right,
Representing
right,
what? This gorilla or ape or monkey energy that we're talking about.
right.
It
Yeah.
is all consistent because it is all based on our story. Pangu began creating the world. He separated yin from yang. Now it was perfectly balanced, just like light and darkness was perfectly balanced. And the Lord God in the Bible separated what? The light from the darkness, the day from the night. That is the establishment of duality. Creating the earth, murky yin, and the sky, clear yang, to keep them separated. Now they had to be, this separation had to last. It was it was not a mistake. It was prescient knowledge. To keep them separated, Pangu stood between them and pushed the sky upward. With each day, the sky grew 10 feet or 3 meters higher, the earth 10 feet thicker, and Pangu 10 feet taller. That is just a representation of the expansion, the continual expansion of the universe and the proliferation what? Of separation and duality. It was done purposely. It was done with intent. It was done with deliberate knowledge of forethought. We all get it.
Okay.
In some version of the story, Pangu is aided in his task by the four most prominent beasts, namely the turtle, the kailin, the phoenix, and the dragon. And the Monkey King, on his adventure, he is joined with four other people. So it's the same story. These four prominent beasts represent the four dimensions, the four elements, the four directions, etc., and so on. So we are currently in the Kali Yuga, the last cycle, family, or what is called the final age, or what we call the time of the end or the end times. This 4-age cycle begins with the Satya Yuga, also known as the Krita Yuga or the Golden Age. And here's the problem. Because we were under the dominion of light and didn't know it, it was our determination during this time of unconsciousness to want to present the world with what? A golden age. It's premature. The current age and cycle must be destroyed. It must die before what? Something else is born.
Yes.
We gotta get this in our understanding. So the Satya Yuga was the first yuga, or the first yom, or I should say the first phase of the yom, or the first age of the yom, and it was the first and the best yuga. This is when we became famous in the earth, where we became renowned. It was the age of truth and perfection. The Krita Yuga was so named because there was but one religion and all men were saintly. That was during that time. Now see, we're not going to correct what is going on now. We're not going. We might as well let these boys wear their pants all the way down to their knees, because we're in what? A state of
not going to be corrected.
It's not going to be corrected.
Right.
It's going
Can't be corrected.
It's going to get as degenerative and as ignorant as it can be, because this age has got to finish out. It's got to peter out. Why are you trying to stop it?
Right.
Why are we trying to stop it?
We don't actually know that we are trying to stop it. We think that it's a world that be perfected intellectually. So if you correct your intellectual spirituality, then you can correct everything else through education. That's absolutely not true.
That's ego. That's all that is. That's ego.
Yeah.
You're going to find out the only person that you can save is yourself.
Yes.
It's yourself.
You're going to have enough problems trying to whip yourself than you will ever have trying to whip somebody else.
Right.
Believe that. Believe. We might as well just resign to that fact. The only person that we can save is ourselves.
Yeah.
But ego tells us what? That we already there. That we have enough knowledge and intelligence to do what? Save our wives, save our children. The only thing you can do to them is show them the structure, show them the doors that they can enter into, and lead them to the door. That's the only thing you can do.
Yes.
Can't make them go through, because you understand how difficult it was for you to go through them doors.
Yes.
Right.
Nobody could push you. Nobody could lead you. Nobody could pull you. You had to determine in your mind at some point that you were going to make this journey. And then what? You went on your way, and you didn't care if somebody followed you or didn't follow you. Correct?
Gang.
That was a
That's
personal decision and an individual choice.
That definitely was my first, and I was getting ready to leave in my Yapa and baby and coming. Now this was my journey here.
I understand.
Now what more now that I done found out and more clear now, and I was then, and I was prepared to leave. I mean, hey, so it just like that. You know, you can only save yourself.
That's correct.
If you can do that.
If you can do that. So there was but one religion, all men were saintly. Therefore, they were not required, I want y'all to hear this, they were not required to perform religious ceremonies. Let me ask y'all a question. Is the Shabbat a religious ceremony?
Absolutely.
Ritual.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all got to consider this now.
Yeah, it is.
It wasn't a requirement for these individuals that were what? More divine than they were what? Human.
Human. Uh-huh.
The caste system was very flexible. Humans were gigantic, powerfully built, handsome, honest.
Somebody's typing.
Yeah, we gotta pay attention to our microphones. Humans were gigantic, powerfully built, handsome, honest, youthful, vigorous, erudite, and virtuous.
That sounds like me.
These are the Nephilim, the giants, the ones that were renowned, the original Shemites that are always first. Y'all got to hear me.
I hear you loud and clear.
I don't even know if they had a diet. How you gonna improve on that? How you gonna improve on that? Gigantic, powerfully built, handsome, erudite. They were fully functioning compared to us. That are what? In disintegration, in degeneration. All mankind could attain supreme blessedness. There was no agriculture. Well, that answers my question. I don't think they was worried about eating all that much.
Right.
No agriculture, no mining, as the earth yielded those riches on its own. Weather was pleasant. Everyone was happy. There were no religious sects. There was no disease, decrepitude, or fear of anything.
Right.
The human lifespan was 100,000 years, and human tended to have hundreds or thousands of sons or daughters. People had to perform penances for thousands of years to acquire something that is called samdi. This is very important. Write it down. Samdi. Samadi. And I'm sorry, it's samadhi in this case. Samadhi in this case. All right? They would acquire samadhi and then what? Die.
Mm.
They would acquire samadhi and then what? Die. See, we got the wrong understanding of death under the dominion of light.
Mm-hmm.
Acquiring samadhi sounds like, family, they finished their work and did what? Rested.
Rested.
Yes. Yes. And rested. Okay.
It sounds like they finished their work and what? Rested.
Mm-hmm.
They ceased from their work. Now I'm talking about beings that were more what? Divine than they are human.
Divine.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Moving forward. In Hindu, Samdhi is a state of intense concentration achieved through meditation. But see, when we talk about Al-Qadir, the green man, some of us have the ability to achieve this state and not meditate, not go through any of the traditional forms of what? Ritual and ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
Want y'all to hear this. In Hindu yoga, this is regarded as the final stage at which union with the divine is reached.
Mm.
I'm going to read it again. It is the final stage, this is samadhi, the final stage at which union with the divine is reached. And that is before or at death. The eighth and final step. I'm going to stop there because the sister yesterday, I believe it was Shalomia, if I'm not mistaken, talked about this eighth day. Talked about this eighth day. She called it up, whoever it was, called it up from this knowledge up from inside themselves. That's why I said, who said that? Y'all already know this, but you got to move that previous knowledge, entrainment, training, programming, conditioning out of the way in order to access it. It is the eighth and final step in Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga. That is samadhi. Samadhi. The eighth and final step. The word samadhi literally means putting together. That is the process, Nasik, of ending duality and dualism. What? Putting it back together.
Right.
Joining what was put asunder.
Right.
Joining it back together, reconnecting it.
Right.
And that is symbolic of us reconnecting with what? Our source.
Mm-hmm.
And is often translated as integration or absorption. The eighth limb is the practice of the entire program. In other words, it is what the entire program is trying to get you to. And that is rest. That is a cessation after what? Integration, after absorption. What else would you need to do?
Rest.
After you
Right.
reconnected with the source, but what? emanate on back out of here.
Mm-hmm.
The other 7 limbs, as well as the final attainment of being. If it's final, you're finished. And I have see samadhi below. See more on samadhi below. We're going to take this to another level. All right. We are in the final stage called the Kali Yuga, family. It requires a different thought vibration that would align us to a different energetic vibrational frequency. This is from an article called Samadhi, the 8th Limb of Yoga by Michelle Fondin. Living in union with your higher self. Sound familiar?
Sound familiar.
Yep.
Listen very closely. The liberation of this state comes from transcending the confines of ego. Isn't that what we've been saying all along?
Okay.
Yeah.
You are no longer wrapped up in the trappings of like, dislike, judgment, worry, and fear.
Right.
You become completely absorbed in the present moment at all times while remaining in total awareness. This is a pure state of being. As you go through your daily tasks, you are no longer replaying. Listen, people. You are no longer replaying the past or looking into the future. See, what we got these sayings like return to Eden. We trying to return to Eden. And to what? Okay, we agree on that. Then we got to what? Build Eden.
Right.
So we're never in the now. We're never totally aware. We are what? Allowing the past to what? Determine the future. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's something you'll never get at because this is not a time of planting and sowing. This is a time of pulling up.
Yes, manifestation.
Reaping. You become completely absorbed in the present moment. That is where our power lies. Now, see, this is what Nassim Harman was talking about. How much power there is in the now.
Right.
Eitai.
You are immersed in the enjoyment of each moment as a sacred act. Samadhi brings you freedom from the cycle of karma and also from the cycles of different ages, different yoms, different cycles. Are you all with me?
That's clear.
Which is a result of never-ending desires, vasanas, and memories. Keep that in mind. Memories. Sanskaras. What this means is that you will still have desires, such as hugging your children or eating food, but you won't be a prisoner of the melodramatic cycle that karma brings. As the ego is continually concerned with what's me and mine, your higher self knows that there is never a lack of anything because there is no separateness. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not what? Want. Shall not desire. Me and my desires are what? My heart's desire are vibrating on the same frequency.
Yes.
The ultimate in manifestation. Since there is no separation between you and the object of your desire, that is your heart's desire or your intent, you will experience instantaneous manifestation. How do I know? I've been telling you all that as it relates to this teaching, right now, see that whatever you put your intention on now, that you are manifesting or vibrating on the higher frequency, it is given to you right now. You don't have to wait for it.
Eitai.
Can
I share some with the family?
You sure can, brother.
Ubuntu family.
Ubuntu, brother.
Remember the day before yesterday, I told a story about the nickel and the penny.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you what happened to me yesterday. I took my Isha to work in the morning. So I had an empty cup in the car. So I walked over to the dumpster to throw the cup into the dumpster. I look down, I see a nickel. I pick it up. I start walking towards my house. I get to the front door. I look down. I see a penny. Now, this was in the morning, right? So later that morning, I go down to the barber shop in DC, right?
Okay.
And everybody know that going into DC mid-morning and try to find parking is a bear. So I found parking and I parked. But when I got out, I go to the car and I see a ticket. So I'm like, damn, they got me. I look at the ticket and saw this. I don't know if everybody can see this. I'll put it up to the screen. Look how much I have to pay.
0.
Come on now. DC.
What they make the ticket for? They were compelled to do that evidently, because why would they even write the ticket if it's 0?
Unheard of.
My point is confirmation that I'm locked into this vibration of divine.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again, here's the ticket.
That don't happen, bro.
There it is.
That don't happen.
That don't happen.
That don't.
That sounds like just what happened to me a couple of weeks ago. They put a ticket on my car at the parking when I went to go to court for one ticket for $75. I end up paying $5 for that after talking to the judge in my culture. And they had the ticket they had on my car. I called about it because I had paid for that parking space, overpaid, as a matter of fact, with my quarters for the time. And they said, well, what's your number? The person that gave me the ticket put in the wrong tag number because they said Miss somebody,
right,
a foreign name, and it wasn't mine. She said, oh, well, you don't have to worry about it because that's your tag. So I was like, Okay, no sense. I don't even get upset when things happen now because I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do that.
Right. This is as a man thinketh. It's what we say it's gonna be. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Whatever I say, it's gonna be.
All right. Closing out, family. The ultimate manifestation, since there is no separation between you and the object of your desire, that is your heart's desire or intent, you will experience instant manifestation. And we're seeing that these instant manifestations are elevating at this particular point.
Yes.
In the state of samadhi, you cannot see anything but oneness between yourself, the subject, and anything else, the object. The translation of absorption for the word samadhi explains this phenomenon. If you are not separate from that which you desire, then you already have the object of your desires. I shall not want.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, when you desire your soulmate, money, a baby, a new job, or a new house from a place of samadhi, your energy field attracts it because you are it and it is you.
Yes.
Easier said than done, family.
Absolutely.
Worry, anxiety, and fear are all polar opposites of samadhi rather, because those states stem from the false notion that there is some sort of wall of Jericho in between your needs, wants, and desires and their fulfillment. Manifestation power in this state goes beyond detachment. That is non-attachment to outcomes. That's level 200, Nasi.
Yes, it is.
That's level 200. So now we're going to be able to judge and calibrate where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
That's level 200 in power versus force. The fifth and sixth limbs of yoga and surrender. That is neutrality, level 250 of the seventh limb. Because in those instances, you are still entertaining the idea that you are separate from your divine essence. I'm going to repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
That manifestation power in this state, it goes beyond level 200 and level 250. Because in those instances, you are still, to one degree or another, entertaining the idea that you are separate from your divine essence. Big problem. Big problem. It's going to make this journey more problematic for you. But we're going to walk you all the way through this process to the end today. But in samadhi, you are the divine creator. I'm going to say that again. See, you must move in your perception from being a human, a servant, to being a God, a creator, the divine creator, not just one.
Mm-hmm.
See, now
Right.
we try to play this thing off by saying, yeah, I'm a co-creator. Nah, nah, that's not how our ancestors laid this out.
Right.
You are still a co-creator means there's two.
Yes.
Yeah,
You are still
right,
in a state of separateness and
right,
division.
right.
You
And this
have to
duality,
transition in your mind as being the creator, the one whom the Bible is talking about. Guess why? That's who you are.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But you've been programmed.
Yeah.
You've been programmed to be an adversary to that thought under the age of light, the age of separation.
Wow.
Mark L.
Yes, sir.
I know now this is why Abba Ben Ami changed the word education to dedication.
Uh-huh.
You see, in the education, that is the world of the simulated reality.
That's correct.
You know, dedication takes you out of being, you know what I'm saying, under the simulated reality. Dedication ties you into who you must be in order for you to manifest what it is that you want to manifest.
Absolutely.
If you ain't dedicated, you can't do it.
And now see, let me add to that.
One
That's why
second,
he changed.
One second. See, that dedication is Ernesto de la Cruz. That is that determination to be determined.
That's right.
To be dedicated, to be earnest, to manifesting this divine power. Go ahead.
And that's why he changed the word missions to jurisdictions.
Right.
Same spirit and concept, because when you go from mission to jurisdiction, now you're talking about sovereignty, which means yourself.
That's correct.
Yeah. That's it.
You're also talking about these energies that govern what? Certain areas.
Yes.
Certain areas of knowledge, certain manifestations of energy.
Okay.
Certain manifestations of power.
Yeah. It's clear.
Yes. Crystal clear.
Yeah. But in samadhi, you are the divine creator, fully realized as the illusion of anything separate falls away like an old layer of skin. Now let me ask you all serpents, what kind of animal sheds its skin?
A serpent.
And goes through as many transformation as it needs. So now here comes our wisdom now. This is going to test everybody, but it's going to be consistent to everything that we've talked about. It's going to be consistent to our symbols. Samedi means Saturday in French.
Saturday in French.
It means that now this is going right to the Shabbat. This is going right to the Shabbat. Now I'm going to remind you that Samadhi brings you freedom from the cycle of karma. It is that energy that says what? My work is finished and I can rest.
Yes.
It is also this final stage at which union with the divine is reached, what? Before death. Individuals acquired samadhi and did what? Or samadhi and did what? Died. They left here. They gave up the ghost. What happened when Moses had brought the people successfully out of Egypt and to the borders of the promised land? Did he go in with them?
Yes.
I'm asking you, did he go in with them?
No, he did not. He did not.
What happened when Elijah finished his work? Did he continue on, or did he leave here and pass it on to Elisha?
He left here passing on to the chariot.
All right. See, we're going to come to, now see, the chariot card somewhere in the tarot cards. And the chariot card is going to be the 7th card. Watch this. This word Samedi is connected to the word Samdi, and it means Saturday. See, we couldn't see this. We see not our signs. There is no more any prophet there, neither is there among us that knoweth how long. I know how long. I can speak for myself.
Right.
I'm coming to the end of my journey. I know that because I know that I know what I was sent here to do. I remember there was a knowledge that governs life.
Right, right.
I'm getting ready to introduce y'all to Baron Samdi or Baron Samadhi. Are y'all with me?
Wow. Yes.
Okay.
That's Baron Samedi. Now remember, in Django Unchained, when he was choosing his uniform, see, they know our stuff. He was choosing the uniform or the costume for his character to play a role as what? The servant. He grabbed an orange hat, a top hat,
right,
and put it on. See, we don't know our signs. We don't see our signs when they're presented before us. And did anybody see Django Unchained?
Yes.
Did he become a preserver of life?
He was a destroyer for.
He was a destroyer.
Yes.
He was a destroyer. And he represented bringing what? This chattel slavery to an end.
Yes.
But again, they did a reverse ritual in this thing. You can be sure of that. We'll go back and decode that movie. I'll show you exactly why they did it. And again, just like the Black Panther movie, we flocked to it. And what? The programming, the entrainment, the training was reinforced. Why? Because we could not see our signs and symbols. And we couldn't see the technology that was being worked with them. We went there to be entertained only. And we weren't entertained, we were inner trained, entrained.
Come on, Eitai.
Baron Samedi, listen, also known as Baron Saturday. Baron Samdi, Bawan Samedi or Bawan Samedi is one of the Loa of Haitian voodoo religion. Samedi is a Loa of the dead, the same way as the Green Man is the foremost of the Westerners, which are the dead. Let me ask you a question. Did voodoo, is it flourishing in the West?
Voodoo?
Yes, absolutely. More than you all know. Santeria, voodoo, Palo Mayombe are the fastest, it's going underground now. Fastest, people are reconnecting to these practices, to these sciences. They're not religions. They are sciences. Some people practice them as religions, but they are based on our ancient science. And they are flourishing and have been flourishing in the West. Very important that we understand and know that. Along with the Baron's numerous other incarnations, Baron Cemetery, or the Baron of the Cemetery, Baron LaCroix, remember Ernesto de la Cruz or de la Croix. The ancestor that passed away, whose great grandson went on a journey in the West, the city of the dead, to find him and to reconnect with him. Are y'all hearing me?
Okay.
We're about to close. We've given you a lot. That is Ernesto de la Croix, or Baron Criminal. We get the word criminal from this. Samedi means Saturday in French. Although technically a deity, this ain't no villain. This ain't no spirit. This is a deity. Rather than a villain, he is often seen in a negative and amoral light, just like Killmonger. In media, due to a great fear and or misunderstanding of voodoo by those outside the religion or those not familiar with the science. I'm telling y'all, they are not scared of y'all organizing. They are not afraid of you all developing an economic system or a culture. They're not scared of y'all marching or protesting or even taking up arms and having an armed revolution or rioting. They got something for that. It's been proven over and over and over again. What they are fearful of is you connecting with dark matter energy, represented by symbols and characters like Baron Samedi. I'm not suggesting that anyone start to practice voodoo or any other type of religion. I'm pointing out to you that this is the energy that you are free without initiation to connect to.
Yes.
You don't have to be initiated. I told you the story in the beginning when I started out. The reason we have to connect with this particular energetic signature is that he is the Lord of the dead. And we cannot connect with those who have gone before us. Remember, in the movie, they said we are all what? Connected to those who have gone before us. How? Through Ernesto de la Cruz, or Baron LaCroix, or Baron Samedi. That is the ancestor, listen y'all, that watches over end time energy. And if you're going to connect with other energies, you must go here first. Why? Because this Shemitic energy is always primal, always primary, always the most ancient, the most elemental, the most unmixed, uncut funk, the bomb. You got to go there first.
Right.
And that unlocks the gateway to what? All of the other energies that are necessary. I'm telling y'all how this works. Why? I've gone through it. That's the only reason I can be teaching this right now.
Like,
They
dang.
told me who I was. They gave me the password, Al-Qadir. So you got to go pass. Nephew, grandson, son, you have a go pass. You don't need to be initiated. But I said to honor you all and the tradition that you established while we were asleep, I'm going to go ahead and pay the initiation fee, although I don't have to. They said, very good, beloved. But understand, you have a go pass. There are individuals on this line, I'm not special, that have the same go pass. I gave you the name, Al-Qadir. All you have to do is familiarize yourself with that energy. You don't have to go through no rituals or initiation procedures or ceremonies. You just must realize who and what you are. You are the Bible was written with you as being the main character, as creator and God. That is our legacy. We don't have a human inheritance. If so, if you believe that, start marching for your rights. Appeal to this oppressive bandit to give you reparations and to give you your 40 acres and your land. Have you gotten it? Our ancestors was trying to get it. The reason, listen, the reason you haven't gotten it is because that's not your inheritance. Your inheritance is not human and earthly, it's divine.
Yes. Come on,
You're going to ask somebody for something and we own the cattle on 1,000 hills. How does that sound?
Right.
We all said in our divine being, if I was hungry, I wouldn't tell you. I would just take what was mine. We must stop being beggarly. Stop praying and start invoking. Start declaring.
Dang.
Who you praying to?
Right.
We got to change our mindset, family. We got to change our mindset.
Dang.
We must make this transition from humanity, from a human existence to a divine existence. And I'm going to finish this out. Baron Samedi or Samdi or Samadhi is the Lord of the dead. We cannot connect with those who have gone before us, our other ancient ancestors, without him. I knew that going into this thing. He doesn't just end life either. So stop being scared. He doesn't just end life either. He can end a situation, a condition, an argument, conflict, controversy, or a relationship. And the relationship that we need to end is our relationship with our human aspect.
Okay.
And by extension, with our ego. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. We are trying to perfect imperfection. It'll never happen. I'll give you some examples later. Somebody has something to say?
Yeah, it's Machiel again.
Go ahead, brother.
That's why, in the neighborhood, like if somebody have a beef with one another and somebody say, yo, that's dead,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
dead.
Or
You know,
kill
which means
that.
it's ended.
Kill that. Right. That's correct.
Stop beating the dead horse.
Stop beating the dead horse. And that's a good. That horse ain't gonna run. That dog ain't gonna hunt. Now listen, he doesn't just end life either. He can end a situation, an argument, a relationship, etc. Listen very closely now. Baron is also there at the end of a job well done. When you've achieved samadhi, total connection, total absorption into the divine, total integration with the divine. That is the energy that allows you to know, to take that deep breath. I'm finished. Y'all got to hear this now.
Okay.
When you take the deep breath after finishing a big project, you are feeling that energy. You are feeling him. He helps the newly dead cross over and find peace, shalom, wholeness, or Shabbat rest. That's why he's called Barren Saturday.
Right.
So the Shabbat is not a day.
Right.
It is a consciousness that tells you it is finished. My work is finished. It's time for me to rest.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Isn't that what the God of the Bible did?
Hello.
Right.
I'm telling you, in order to see this, you got to see yourself as a creator, not as a created being, as a divine being that emanated in here, now see, to do a job and to finish it and get on. Y'all hearing me?
Okay.
If someone is so bad off that are lingering on the border, the Baron will make the ultimate decision whether they live or die. Now understand, they're talking about this in anthropomorphic terms just to make it easier for us to conceptualize how this energy works. This ain't got nothing to do with no spirit or no man that ever lived. It is just an anthropomorphic representation of an energetic signature or an elemental energy. As well as being master of the dead, just like the Green Man or Osiris, the foremost of the Westerners. Westerners mean that they are dead. Baron Samedi is also a giver of life. He can cure any mortal of any disease or wound if he thinks it is worthwhile. His powers are especially great and impressive when it comes to voodoo curses and black magic. This is our sword and our rod. Even if someone has been afflicted by a hex and brings them to the verge of death, they will not die if we connect to this energy. So as long as this mighty and influential spirit or energetic signature keeps them out of the ground, they are safe. Now, this gets us to another term. This term, bodhisattva.
Bodhisattva, yeah.
So once you've connected with this energy, now see, just like it says, you can determine if you want to leave at the end of that you finished your work, or if you want to stick around for a while, however long that you want that you want to do. Some individuals will make that decision. Bodhisattva refers to a being, a person who has achieved samadhi or samadhi. In other words, they finished their work. They've achieved integration and absorption into what? Their divine aspect. Yet, compassion or love compels them to refrain from entering nirvana. In other words, dying at that moment in order to save others. In order to save others. And we've seen this in movies such as Ghost.
Yes.
All right? Where the one guy, Patrick Swayze, was set up by his friend and killed prematurely. But he loved his wife so much that he did what? Stuck around. and saved her, right? So this idea was a poor example of that, because it's not going to be an accident or nothing like that, but we'll be able to what? Once we've identified our work, understood that we are finished, we would know in ourselves energetically that we are done with our work, but we also have the power to do what? Stick around if we want to. So the Shabbat was not made for a man. Was made for man, rather, not for a divine being. The divine being made the Shabbat to control what? Mortality.
Yes.
So in Genesis, the second chapter, and we're going to close right quick here. The heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, God did what? Ended his work which he had made. Samadhi. He had reached Samadhi and rested on the seventh day from all of his work which he had done. And who told God to rest? Who told him that he was finished? Was there somebody higher than him?
Oh, come on, Eitai.
We got to grow up, fam. We got to grow up and quick. We got to be of a quick understanding. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in that he had rested from all his work which God created and made. Now, as we close, a quick understanding of Nasik, the simulated reality, referring to Christ in John, the first chapter, verses 9 through 13. It said that the Christ was the true light. So in saying there is a true light, we are automatically saying that there was a false light.
Absolutely right.
An illusory light.
Right.
There is an organic light and an illusory light, a simulated light that keeps us locked into what? A simulated reality, moving forward to the close. which lighteth every man that cometh into the world. That's that internal light, that spark that is in all of us. He was in the world, and the world was made by him. In other words, he understood that he was the creator. He came to that vibratory frequency where there was no separation, and the world knew him not. He came unto his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of God, even to them that believe in his name, Yud He Vav He, which were born, listen, not of blood, nor of the will of the flesh, nor of the will of man, meaning that they weren't created, but from God, meaning that they emanated from a source. Time travel through the theory of relativity. Time is an illusion. So the Shabbat is not a particular point in time like that. It is a level of consciousness that you reach, which tells you what? Now, see, I can rest.
Yeah.
I can rest. My work is finished.
And Eitai, the major rest that we need to be, concerned about is the rest from that duality, which had you at war internally, you understand, and externally. And this is what wears you down. You're at war with yourself.
This is exactly what we're saying. Exactly what we're saying. So, time travel through relativity. What we like is moving in time. I'm sorry. What we like is moving in time relatively. According to the theory of special relativity by Albert Einstein in 1905, we need to travel. Then we will be moving in time. Time and space are relative to each other. That is, the faster you move, the slower the time travel. So how are you, if you're going to start moving at a higher vibratory rate, time is becoming irrelevant. It is doing what? Losing its integrity and its hold on you. I got to hear what I'm saying. Nasik Haraman. Since time is distance in space, time is memory on the structure of space. Without memory, there is no time. Without time, there is no memory.
Right.
It then follows that the energy, that is the light that we perceive as material, that's the simulated light, that as we perceive as the material world must be information, false information, or energy on the structure of space. Family, that is what creates the illusion of time. And we see time as what? Something that is linear. But time is actually cyclical and more complex. But, however, if you want to stay trapped into what? Linear time, then you must designate days and weeks and months and years. Those things are irrelevant to individuals that have what? Moved their consciousness and awareness what? Outside of the simulated material realms into what? A place where there is no space and time, the organic reality, as Nasik put it, into wholeness. So we're going to end right there. We've certainly covered a lot, and we're going to eventually, Nasi, I want to give the scriptural references. I have them all listed out that confirms all of this straight from the Bible. Straight from the Bible. And what I'll do is the same document that I sent you yesterday, but you know, again, these revelations are coming daily and instantaneously. So all of the notes that you did not have that I developed from the time that we got off yesterday until right before we got on today, I'm going to send you the amended notes.
Okay, good. Excellent.
All right.
All right, family.